it's Hannah, and welcome back to my channel, or hi, hello, if you're new here. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. My name is Hannah. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out me and my YouTube channel for today's video. I'm really excited because I'm going to be doing a eyeshadow palette video that would be really good to gift someone this Christmas season or holiday season, whatever holiday you do celebrate. Now, I would quickly like to mention that these palettes are very, very affordable palettes, but that does not mean that they are lacking in quality, because these are phenomenal. These are palettes that I've used a lot. If you're very familiar with me and my YouTube channel, you know that I've used these in tutorials, I've done reviews on them, etc. So, you know, just because they're cheap does not mean that they are lacking in quality or lacking in the whole, you know, pigmentation department or anything like that. I know that this Christmas or holiday season is going to be different for a lot of people. A lot of people don't really have a lot of money to spend this year. And you know what? Maybe you might not even want to buy these palettes for anybody in particular in your life. Maybe you want to buy a new palette for you, and that is okay, because I have been treating myself like crazy to all of these sales that has been happening recently. So, you know what? It's just the time of the year that it is. So go ahead and get a snack, maybe get a cup of coffee or hot cocoa, just whatever. Snuggle up by your heater or your fireplace, because it's been very, very chilly here the last couple of days in Georgia, and I know that I have been freezing my little honey off, and I've been sitting all snug by the fireplace. So get yourself a warm blanket and go ahead and sit down and get settled in, because we're going to be talking about some really good eyeshadow palettes that you or someone else in your life may need. Alright, I have so many palettes sitting here in front of me from a bunch of different brands, and don't really know where I want to begin. So let's begin with Colourpop. Colourpop is a brand that I have grown a huge love for this year. I really like their shadows. The prices of these shadows are so phenomenal, and the quality is just chef's kiss. I know that Colourpop is very controversial with a lot of people because they do release a lot of collections. And people, you know, do have the right argument of, you know, a lot of times the packaging with certain collaborations, you can kind of tell it's not really thought out, I guess you could say. But I have to be completely honest with y'all. You know, it's not like anybody is making you buy these collections. Is it overwhelming that they release a lot of stuff? Yes. But you need to also ask yourself if you need every single collection that they release. Because, I mean, they're really, really good. So, this one right here might be more ideal for the everyday person. Now, mine is very dirty because I've used it a ton. This is the Colourpop Yes Please palette. I was actually gifted this palette last Christmas from my brother and his girlfriend, and this is just what it looks like. It is a really, really neutral palette, but it does have some fun pops of color with the yellow and the orange and the peaches and just different little shades like that. So I really, really like this palette. It is a really good palette for everyday use. I use this palette a ton. The pigmentation is phenomenal. These mattes, oh my goodness. They are just so smooth, so creamy, so buttery. The shimmers work really nicely if you dampen them before you use them, like damp your brush or damp your finger before you go in and use them. But they are so metallic and just so, so gorgeous. So this is a really good palette for someone that likes just that everyday, simple kind of look. For someone who may be more colorful in your life, by the way, all the prices of these palettes are going to be up on the corner of the screen. For someone that is more colorful in their life, I really recommend these little 9-pan colored shadows. My favorite one is Meant to Be. That they have like a ton of different colored 9-pan shadow palettes. So this is just what this one looks like. It's just filled to the brim with a bunch of beautiful mint shades, and I love mint green. Mint green is like my favorite shade of green next to lime green. It is so beautiful. These also perform very, very well as well. They're phenomenal. The mattes are amazing. The shimmers are just beautiful. You can make so many beautiful mint eye looks with this palette, and each look is going to look different each time because you really can mix and match. And you can also mix and match these palettes with other palettes as well. They just had a sale on these, and these normally retail for $12, but this week weekend they were on sale for $8.50, so that was not a bad deal at all. So I definitely recommend these or any of their other palettes that they have online. I have a couple more palettes from them, but that's like my top 2 palettes right there that I would recommend personally that you purchase for someone or maybe even yourself for Christmas or holiday season this year. If you want something that is super affordable, then I definitely recommend checking out these Makeup Revolution. These are the Reloaded palettes. I have Visionary, which is this one right here. This is a very, very cool toned palette, but it does have some really fun pops of color in here with the pink and the purple that they got going on. I like this palette. I will say that this palette, I've never really used this palette like all together. I've mixed and matched this palette with a bunch of my other palettes just because there's just not a lot of creativeness here. But the reason that I say this might make a really good gift for someone if they're beginning out in makeup, this might be a really good palette because you could kind of take like these 2 shades right there, that mid-tone brown and then the deeper brown, and you can make a really simple, easy, everyday look out of it. So I don't know. I mean, it's a good palette. It's a really good palette, and I am recommending it in this video because I do like it and it's a good quality palette, but just be warned that there's not a lot of room to be creative with this particular palette, but I still like it nonetheless. I know that this makes like entirely no sense, but I mean, they're only $7. It's not a bad price. And then this one is like my other favorite. This is like my all-time favorite. This is the Velvet Rose palette. And this is warm tone. And if you know me, I love my warm tone shadows. They look so beautiful with people who have really deep brown eyes like myself. And this is just what it looks like. Now, these shimmers, they're more glittery than they are metallic. And these shadows do have a lot of fallout. So it is best to go ahead and do your shadow first before you do your face. It's always a good idea to do your shadow first before you do your base. So that way, when you have to wipe away the fallout, you're not wiping away, your foundation, your concealer, etc. So just for that purpose, I do recommend doing your eyes first. I like the mattes in here. Some of the mattes in these Makeup Revolution palettes I found in general from Makeup Revolution, sometimes they can be a bit on the patchier side. But this particular palette, this Velvet Rose palette, it's not as patchy as some of the others. And neither is the Visionary. But I have one other Reloaded palette from them that is extremely patchy. So just be warned that some of the palettes are very, what do you call that? They're very inconsistent with quality. I had to think about that word that I was trying to use there. They're very, very inconsistent. So be sure that you do buy these 2 palettes that I am recommending. All the other palettes that I've tried from the $7 line, they're very inconsistent in quality. And I know people who have other palettes from the $7 line that some of them are performing phenomenally and then some of them aren't. So it is very apparent that there is some inconsistency going on. So just be warned about that when you do a purchase, or if you do purchase these palettes, that is going on. But these I would totally recommend for a makeup beginner, just because I mean, especially this one, it is very, very easy to create a simple, gorgeous, everyday look. Whether you want to go super glam or you just want to keep it casual, it's really easy to achieve a beautiful look with this palette. Alright, let's talk about Morphe. Morphe is another brand that I've gotten very familiar with this year. I know a lot of people hear a lot of different things about Morphe here on YouTube, and I have to say, I actually really like their influencer palettes. Their palettes that they do with other creators or celebrities. They just do palettes with just like random people these days that's not even into makeup, which, hey, no hate, who cares? But those palettes are always really, really good quality. I've never really had the greatest of luck with just their regular palettes. Some of them also can be very inconsistent, very chalky, very patchy, but they're palettes that they do with other people normally are like phenomenal. My 2 favorites are the Jaclyn Hill palette, which is this one right here. This is her original palette that she did with Morphe. I've yet to grab her volume 2 palette, but I'm sure that one is phenomenal and it's on my list to grab here in the next couple of weeks. But this is just what this palette looks like. Now, this is also a neutral palette, but it does have some really fun pops of color in this palette. This is what really sparked my love for Morphe, just because I love Jaclyn Hill and I really, really like this palette. I've created so many beautiful looks with this palette. It is very smooth, very, very creamy. Like, this is probably the creamiest shadow formula that I have ever tried in any palette. It is just so pigmented. One swipe, you're done. I really, really like this palette. Now, I know I said that this was affordable, and I know a lot of you probably out there, this is not a very affordable palette, because it is in the $30 range. But there are some people that, you know, $30 for a palette isn't that bad. I feel like $30 for a palette this size is not that bad. I mean, you get 35 shades in this palette. So, I mean, I like this palette. I like it a lot. I like the newer packaging too. I like that all the shade names are on the back instead of like having to keep up with the little sheet. But if you want something that is super, super colorful and super out there and want to get super creative, then I definitely recommend checking out the Morphe at James Charles palette. And this is just what this one looks like. Now, this is the mini artistry palette. I personally like this one because I like the size of it. I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm a sucker for miniature palettes, and I didn't quite know if I was gonna vibe with this palette or not, because I've heard a lot of different things about this palette. But let me go ahead and tell y'all, that is a bunch of lies, and this palette is, oh my goodness. I have used this in every single one of my holiday looks this year, and I just cannot get over it. Now, the only thing I don't like about it is you have to keep up with this little thing in order to know the shade names, but this is just what it looks like. It is so fun. It is so rainbowy. It is so easy to get super creative and create all kinds of fun looks with this palette. I really, really like this palette. So if you have someone in your family or in your friends or just whatever and they don't have this palette yet, but they like creating really fun, colorful looks, I definitely recommend gifting them this palette for Christmas. Now, this one is a bit more affordable than his original, because his original is like $40 and this one's only $26. So it's half the size and it's half the price. So I know a lot of people here on YouTube, they felt like this was a money grab. They felt like this was not very thought out. I like the mini palette of this. I like that it's in a miniature form. I like that it's easier to work with personally for me for size range. I wish they would take the Jaclyn Hill palette and turn that into a mini, because I totally would buy it, and just, yeah. So anyway, that is my palettes that I recommend that you check out this holiday season. Alrighty, y'all, so I really hope that you all did enjoy this video. If you did, then please give it a big thumbs up down below. Also, do not forget to hit that subscribe button while you're down there as well, because I'm here for you with new videos every Thursdays, Saturdays, and Mondays at 6 or 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also give me a follow over on social media as well, so that way you can keep up with me. You can keep tabs on me, and you can keep a lookout when I post and upload new videos, because YouTube doesn't always notify you every time I upload a video. Even if you hit the notification bell, I don't know what's going on with YouTube, so I would really recommend just following me on there, so that way you really can keep a track on when I do post and upload videos. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. I hope that you all are having a fun holiday season so far, and I will see you all in Thursday's video. Bye, my little Hannah corns.